Hey everybody, this is Jason from Outdoor Adventures. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at the Super Cat stove versus the Fancee Feast stove. Now, the Super Cat stove, basically you just make it out of a wet cat food can, a Fancee Feast can. You can find templates online for the holes. You just take, line the template up and you basically just take a hole punch and you just go around and punch holes in the can. You then take some denatured alcohol, which you can get up at Home Depot, Lowe's, pretty much any home improvement store. You put an ounce to, maybe a half an ounce in here, and you can boil your water in about 6-7 minutes, depending on how much you use. This worked great. There's a little bit of a priming period of 30 to 40 seconds when you use one of these stoves, so you're wasting that 30 to 40 seconds of fuel initially. But after that, you kind of just, put your pot on, and it boils your water fairly quickly. I mean, it's not going to be a canister stove by any means, but it's much smaller, more compact, and lighter, and you can not have to worry about the canisters. And I like that. I don't want to worry about canisters while I'm out there. Canister stoves might work for you great. White gas might work for you great. It's just I kind of like the alcohol stoves. They're lightweight. This one's 0.2 ounces. But recently, I found a channel called Hiram Cook's channel, and what he does is he tests a whole bunch of different alcohol stoves. He's really fun to watch, actually. It's really interesting how fun it is to watch him boil water. But I came across one of his stoves called the Fancee Feast stove. Now, this is a modification of Zelf stoves, and there's just one alteration of that, but you can look that up if you want. But just know that Zelf, I believe, came up with this idea first. I've seen it in a couple of Shug's videos, and like I said, the Hiram Cook videos. So basically what this is, it's the cat food can. I cut it in half, and then I cut a tomato paste can, one of the real small tomato paste cans, and I fit it inside here. I left about an inch sticking up, which seems to be the magic number for boiling really well. And then you can go on Amazon, or also you can go up to Home Depot. They have this stuff called plumber's felt or carbon felt. And what you do is you basically just you cut a little strip of that, make sure you can put it in your can, and you punch out some holes in the can to allow the fuel to soak up into the carbon felt. What that allows you to do is it allows you to pour some alcohol, denatured alcohol, in the middle of the tomato paste can. Those holes in the bottom of the tomato paste can will then let the fuel soak into the felt. And basically what that allows you to do, it allows you to light the carbon felt, and it will act as like a wick, and that will allow you to burn the denatured alcohol for boiling water. I usually just have oatmeal, coffee, couscous rice, and a Mountain House meal while I'm out there. And that's really good for me. I know some people like to, bring some steak and bacon and hot dogs and all that stuff. But for me, I just basically prefer boiling water and using that to cook the meals. So, as you can see, here is a test between the two stoves. Obviously, you have to let the Super Cat stove, the one with the holes on it on the left, you have to let that prime a little bit. And the reason being, it has to be able to build enough pressure when you put your pot on, or it'll simply just go out. You have to allow it 30 to 40 seconds to bring the fuel out of the holes that you punched in with the hole punch. Now, the good thing about the Fancee Feast stove on the right is you don't have to prime it at all. You can basically light it and put your pot on, and then you're done. So it's a little bit more fuel efficient. The weight on the Fancee Feast can is 0.6 ounces. So it's only 0.4 ounces more than the stove on the left. So that's pretty good for me. I don't really have an issue with the extra weight. I mean, hell, we're at less than an ounce here. And it boils your water faster for whatever reason. I guess it just makes the flames closer to the bottom of the pot instead of spreading them out like the holes in the Super Cat stove. So that has been working out so far for me. I brought this on a couple day hikes and a weekend trip, and I have zero complaints about it. It's really good. Probably a little over a half an ounce boils about 2 cups of water. I mean, just a tad over a half an ounce of denatured alcohol. And you can make it even more fuel efficient by putting a windscreen around it. I actually purchased this. I've been struggling with windscreens. I got the Vargo folding screen last year. Didn't really like it. It's really flimsy, and it's just not big enough. And then I had that really big one I used on the Whisperlight, that folding windscreen. But this is actually titanium sheeting. You know, it's just like making it out of aluminum foil, but this stuff isn't gonna, you know, it's not gonna tear. You don't have to you can kind of beat it up a little bit. And I bought this from tokesoutdoors.com. My pot is also a Tokes outdoor product. And what I did was I basically put it inside my pot, okay, and then I chopped the top off so it actually fits in my pot. The coolest part about all this new stuff that I got is that I can actually put the windscreen and help keep its shape inside the Fancee Feast can, and then I can get my you can get these, you know, just off a little bottle of NyQuil or ZQuil or whatever, you know, medicine, cough syrup. And this 30 milliliters is about an ounce, so I just kind of keep that around. It weighs practically nothing. I put that in the middle of the Fancee Feast stove. I can put that in my pot, and my sport goes in there, and the lid goes on, and everything is real nice in there and compact. And then I just throw it in this little carrying case here. So this is going to be my new stove system, my new cook set, and I'm pretty happy about it. I mean, I can even throw a lighter in there if I wanted to. So this kit basically is less weight. I was using an 1100 milliliter pot with a lid I didn't really ever use, and I also brought a coffee cup last year. Well, this is now small enough where I can just, you know, drink coffee out of this pot and put boiling water in a Ziploc bag. Ziploc bags are actually BPA free, and you can actually cook your oatmeal or whatever you need to do, couscous, rice, in the Ziploc bag. You can put boiling water and it's not going to really rip. You just got to be careful with it. So I cook in a Ziploc bag now, and I will drink coffee out of this. So, you know, I think that saved me like 5 or 6 ounces right there, maybe even a little bit more. I'd have to go back and see. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys about my little stove update there, and show off the new Fancee Feast versus the Super Cat stove. I know a lot of people use this stove, but you know, for the amount of work that goes into making the other one, I think it's definitely worth it. I mean, it's real simple. That carbon felt for about a 1 foot by 1 foot piece, I believe it's $12. But after you buy that piece, you can make probably over a dozen of those stoves, of the Fancee Feast can stoves, and you also only probably have to replace it once every 2 years, I'd say, because the carbon felt itself doesn't burn. It's the liquid that burns off of it. But eventually it's going to be, you know, the top is slowly going to wear out and you will have to replace it. But another good thing about this, before I forget, is these, with your alcohol, denatured alcohol, if it's colder, if it's in the, you know, below freezing, the 20s or whatever, it won't light. You have to keep your alcohol in your pocket or something. With the Fancee Feast, you can actually use it in the wintertime if you choose to do so, and it will light just fine. You just move the wick up and it'll work. You can actually also make, you know, I told you I cut half of this can off. If you want to just get almost a whole tomato paste can, put it in here, wrap the carbon felt in, and use a full Fancee Feast can, you can, and you can put, you know, 3 or 4 ounces of fuel in there at once, maybe even more, and you can probably boil snow. You know, I'm a little leery on that just because I like to have, you know, a full liter of water in an Nalgene bottle, you know, boiling, and just in case I get cold during the night. So guys, thanks for watching. This is Frozen from Outdoor Adventures, and I'll see you next time.